Something that I have learned the hard way is that don't pressure yourself to produce fast, but take the time to produce your best, because at the end you will see the result. Like it is not about quantity but quality.
Hello and welcome to the She Clicks Women in Photography podcast. I'm Angela Nicholson and I'm the founder of She Clicks, which is a community for female photographers. In these podcasts, I speak to women in the photographic industry to hear about their experiences, what drives them, and how they got to where they are now. Today, our guest is Citlali Fabián, a visual artist and photographer from Mexico. Her work explores indigenous identity, migration, and community through deeply personal storytelling. In 2026, she was named Photographer of the Year at the Sony World Photography Awards for her powerful series, Brija Stories of My Sisters. Hi, Citlali. Thank you so much for joining me today on the She Clicks Women in Photography podcast. It's fabulous to have the opportunity to chat with you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here talking with you.
Thank you. Can we start by hearing a little bit about your background and what was it that first attracted you to photography?
Well, I come my background is not like the like related to arts or any visual creativity, like it is kind of for me, a very natural way how I ended being interested in photography. When I was a kid, my dad started a business, and it turns out this business was related to photography. He opened a photo printing shop in Oaxaca, where I'm from, in the south of Mexico. And for me, that the first interaction to photography was actually, like when people was coming with their film to develop. So it was just like very interesting to me to understand also how photography, the medium, analogic medium worked, like when you needed to develop your roles, when it was just not like the immediacy that we live nowadays. Like it was not like, oh, now photography is everywhere, right? Like you have it like literally in your hand, like it's on your phone. But yeah, like not that long ago, I feel a bit old when I'm saying this, not that long ago, we really needed professionals to help us to treasure those memories, to being able to contact us, make that connection with photography. It wasn't not as accessible as it is now. So just to respond to your question, I came close to photography by helping in my family business, by receiving the film, developing, and understanding that photography was working as an extension of their memories. Like it is very interesting to me to understand very, very well this from a very early age, how important was and is photography, right? Like, and how, like it was just like this precious moment when they came to collect and see what they were able to treasure, to capture from their experiences. So that's how I got interested in photography. As I don't know the word in English, we call it oficio in Spanish, like, like these jobs that require a lot of hands-on to master it. So it was more about that. It wasn't as an artistic approach. It was like a job, like it is a baker, like it is, like someone that actually works with their hands. It was that first interaction to photography and how I came interested. And then I was lucky to grow up in one of the most cultural, diverse cities in Mexico. The south of Mexico is luckily to me. Very prolific on museums, galleries, artists working through for their communities to make art accessible. So in this way, I was able to take a few first workshops in my local museum to understand a bit of the principles of photography, to understand that it was also more than capturing birthdays and weddings. You could also tell amazing stories and bring people closer to your world through images. So yeah, that's a bit like in short how I came interested wind photography.
That's really interesting because I hear from a lot of people who got interested in photography because a parent or family member had a camera and they were into photography. But yours is quite different because you were looking at the end product a lot. You're seeing lots of people coming in and sharing that, well, not sharing their images with everybody, but effectively sharing them with you. So you could see all of the things they were photographing and all their inspirations.
Yes, absolutely. And like that's why I feel like I kind of understand also why, for example, from my background, I'm an indigenous from Mexico, and also we are not only talking about like this generation have access to create images for the first time, like in a very easy way, because it's still not that accessible. Like equipment is really expensive, right? But a camera is you can get a camera, but back then, like thinking about my grandmother and their relation with photography was something precious, like it was a moment to think as a serious moment. She showed me this importance on the act of being photographed and how people can treasure it. Like for her, when I asked her for a photo, she always took the time to comb her hair, change her clothes. Like it was a moment. And also she could also very easily say, no, I'm busy right now, right? But she understood like in a way that I later understood, like this is also a memory for my children, for my grandchildren. Yeah, like the photos we have of my grandmother in my parents' house are the ones that I last take from her. So in a way, I feel like, yeah, like this is a very different relationship than now we have to photography. Now we do like the silly duck face, or like it is just not like like I not nothing against that, but it was just like a very different approach from their generation to understanding that it wasn't accessible. It was once in a lifetime. Sometimes her only memory of her mom comes from a very blurry photo that I assume is a Kodak one photo, like this one that in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only memory she has of her. Like that's also like a very different relation that we have to photography than we have. Like I have lots of photographies of my daughter, but I feel really bad because I haven't printed that many. Like, and it's like I have lots of them in the cloud somewhere, like in the space. I don't know, like consuming a lot of resources as well. And in a way, I'm like, I should, like just like also understand like the value of the print of the. So it was like, I think in this way make me understand also like photography is an important object as well, and yeah, like can carry lots of stories.
What age were you when you first got a camera?
The first time I got a camera, I was having around 15, 16 years old. As I said, like I grew up in a photo printing. So I bet it was earlier than that because I bet my dad asked me to take, like ID photos. I bet like I don't have, like I have memories of me doing it later, but, or that I asked him to help because that's also what kids do, like.
Mm-hmm.
But my first vivid memory was when I was 15, 16 years old, 16 probably, when I was in high school in Mexico and I wanted to take photos of my mates in school. Like really, those photos are, when I see them, they are so cute, like in a way, like you can see like just teenagers hanging out. And, yeah, like.
And I guess it didn't cost you much or anything, perhaps, to get the films processed because your dad could do it. Or you could do it yourself, probably.
Do it myself. That was the beauty. Like, like, and also film wasn't as expensive as it is nowadays. Like, you wouldn't bother for me to take some from there were even cans. Like, there are still cans, like with these, like, meters and meters of film. And I remember because a lot of social event photographers came to his shop to get materials as well. I remember me doing those rewinding the I don't know how you call it, cassette, like the to sell more. And I remember like, okay, I'll grab something for myself, like it was so accessible. I was so lucky, like, and as I say, I didn't start with aspirations of becoming a documentary photographer or an art photographer, anything like that. It was just more, I was definitely much more influenced by the social event photographers around me.
So how did you develop that aspiration to become a social photographer, a documentary photographer?
Over time, I guess. As I said, like I was lucky and very lucky also to grow up in a city that was just encouraging a lot of their locals to get into arts, get into classes. There is a place called the Photographic Center Alvarez Bravo in my city, founded by a very famous Mexican very famous painter. He also practiced photography. He said that in an interview that he was painting because he couldn't do good photography, or he wanted to do photography, but he wasn't good enough. But he was extremely talented artist, Francisco Toledo. He was a force in our city to open spaces to, make art and photography accessible to everyone. So he lead with a group of local photographers to open a space where people like me could come to take workshops and learn. It was just like it is a very unique space, like it has a very big library just dedicated to photography, like 3 rooms of just photography books. And it was just amazing. It was just amazing to be a teenager that was able to, like walk in her streets and being able to come to this place and make other friends that were interested in photography and have the chance to meet photographers from Mexico who came there to teach about their experiences, about their way to making photography. And that's when I understood that there were other types of photography to see. And I think also one of the first shows I saw in that museum included one photo from my town, from the town where my parents are from, from my diaspora is from. So for me was that a bit shocking because I have never seen that photo before. It's a photo from Lola Alvarez Bravo that was included for this show. I forgot the name of this very important show in MoMA, but included like lots of photographers from the world. And one of the photos from Mexico was from Lola Alvarez Bravo and was this photo. And I learned that a lot of other photographers have came to my village to take photos. In that moment, I really didn't think of take photos of my diaspora, but definitely something moved inside me to think, I didn't think I could do that type of photography as well. And I think joining this space helped me to understand that it also overlapped another very important social time in the city I'm from. It was 2006, and it was a social movement in Oaxaca after repression from the police to teachers, syndicate of teachers in Oaxaca. And that really created a chaotic environment in Oaxaca. It was a lot of violent protests. And this place, it was in the center where block away all this was happening. And also that made me feel and understand the relevance of photography, like because there were also photographers who were working on reporting about this moment, historic moment in our lives. And I was just like very, very, it opened my mind, it like everything that was happening around me opened my mind about the power of photography, about all the different ways that you could explore photography and what photography can offer to the world and to yourself as well, and what you could offer also. So it was just like a lot of things happening in the moment that when I was just understanding the power and my interest in photography was just really expanding.
So a lot of your projects are about other people's stories. What was your first project like that? How did you start down that path?
I think my projects in a way connect with myself, that there are like, that I have both of them, because for example, the first series that I feel like I finished, it was the Mestiza series, when I was working with other friends in a different way that this last series. Like, I think in a way there are a lot of resemblances between Mestiza and Vida. Like, it is like a really full journey in there. But from there, I was already exploring the idea of self-representation. I was already working on the idea of the power that photography holds, and how, in a way, to share it or find a way that the people that sits in front of the camera feel more comfortable or feel more empowered or feel like they are not being, their image is not being taken from them. Like, it is just like for me, there already all those things were starting to feel like are happening. But obviously, like this project is like almost 8 years ago when and it's a long path. Like I'm telling you, my beginnings in photography, like, my interest in that in 2006, but I really didn't finish anything till 2018. So it's a long path, right? So definitely I was just like, like understanding and learning a lot about different approaches, different ways of doing photography, the relevance of photography in everyone's life. And yeah, like I had a lot of contradictory questions to ask me. And yeah, I feel like I started from something that it was like bothering me or making me think or question something, and then finding people that could join me in this journey to answer or give an answer to those questions that I was just like reverberating in my brain. So in this sense, I think in these two things, Vira and Mestiza are kind of in the same path. With other projects that I'm doing, because it is not also that I produce a lot of projects. Like I think I've had like 4 or 5 projects that I feel like these are actually projects that I feel like I are not finished but circle. Like they have a beginning and a clear path, And when Ben Yarar, the project from Yalala, yes, portraying in the documentary part my family, and that was from the beginning the goal to portray my family. But for example, I haven't released that many photos of me with my family, right? Like those are photos that I haven't really put around like openly. Obviously, in some point I will show them, but yeah, like on my website you cannot see like the full spectrum of all the project. And in that project itself, I work also with photography objects, like with embroidery, scratching plates. Like it was just like maybe it wasn't directly, and a lot of them I appear actually, but that those images definitely were trying to reflecting something more about my process and my way of seeing also my own culture and how to present it to in a way that it is how to present it visually. That's it. But yeah, like I think I when I photograph, I try to understand that and to try to understand it and put myself into the person that I'm asking for a photo. Like nowadays, like also that's something that really scares me in a way. Like you put a photo online and you lost completely the track of it. Like it is like it can go in so many directions, and it's a bit scary. Like it's a bit scary. Like yeah, you don't know where your beautiful face is gonna end, and sometimes not all the people also like feel fine about it. And
You
you
mean
also
the
need
subjects or the viewers?
subjects, I feel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And what I'm trying is always like to, like if I heard like the photos the photos of a person that appears in the photo is gonna be in I don't know. For example, now is in Arl the part of the photos, and look, your photo is gonna be there, and like trying a bit, yeah, that part like to share.
Yeah, I can understand that, because you put a lot of work into it, and then you suddenly think, oh, what if they don't like that picture, or they don't want it in this exhibition?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a concern. It might be that they say, oh, great, thank you, but that moment you have a concern about it. I can understand.
Yeah, and well, with Vera, I think I'm really shocked about like how, yeah, like just surprised, like in a good way, how it has been received, and yeah, like all the places that it has been visited. That's amazing, and I hope like also can inspire other girls and other women to see their peers and the people that are around there doing amazing stuff, because that's the reality actually. Like there is a lot of good people around us, and like it is just amazing to just showcase a bit of their amazing work and the amazing things they are doing. And sometimes like we don't take the time to just acknowledge that, there are a lot of unnamed heroes around us, and that's beauty. That's really like amazing and gives me a lot of hope when, like we see a world like in flames, like we're seeing right now.
Yeah. Earlier this year, you were named Photographer of the Year in the Sony World Photography Awards. Could you tell us a bit about that particular project?
Yes, of course. Well, Vira is a project. Vira Stories of My Sisters is a project that started in 2024 to conceptualize the idea, to understand what I wanted to do. And it actually started while I was reading a book to my daughter, and like these stories of amazing women in the world. And I was just thinking of all the incredible women from my region that are doing things for the girls in our communities or for the communities itself, and how to make something accessible for the kids in my region. So it started like that. It started like an idea. I had a year to take photos, to understand what I wanted to do, to first of all reach out to the women that I was interested to collaborate and to understand what I wanted to do with them, and if they wanted to take. So I did a list of 8 women that I knew that they were doing amazing stuff in my region. In that moment, I was living in Mexico. We started with a video call, and I shared the idea, and they were very, very positive and agreed to participate. And one thing that I remember was very important at that moment, it was like, if they feel like there was anyone that they wanted to include, to please share the name and I will reach out to them. At the end, I was able to make 12 portraits for this series. It was a bit complicated because it was in the span of a year to take just 12 portraits, which doesn't sound that much, but when you try to reach out to people that are, that they are very busy, traveling to different places, doing a lot of stuff, like you don't see them stop. It's one of those ones that you don't see them stop, and to just match your times to actually find the time to give you half of the day for making a photo was like a big challenge. And then it came the picking the photo, what you were mentioning. What if they don't like the photo? And this is very interesting and very important to me with this project, because while for choosing the photo, I try to involve them as much as possible. And what I mean for this, I shoot all this project in film, and what I was doing is scan the contact sheet and share a contact sheet with them. When I was sharing this contact sheet, I obviously was like, okay, this is my favorite, this is my favorite, this is my favorite, and see if one of them were their favorites as well. And normally we ended choosing between 3 to 5 photos for me to work and edit and then present them to them, like edited and ready to work the next layer on them. And this sounds really fast when you talk about it, but like processing an image in the computer takes time. Sometimes speaking to someone over any platform, sometimes it takes forever, especially if you're a busy person. Sometimes like you wait a week for an email response, like, and that happened as well with them. And yeah, like it was just like sending photos, expecting for their response, seeing which ones they like the most, and from there pick one photo that you feel represents you, that you feel happy with, and that's the photo I'm gonna work to do collaborative intervention in the photo. And then was another month or more about sharing photos, sharing sketches of the ideas to put in the photo. There were some ones that were like very fast, like it was really fluid, the way that we're exchanging, and the idea came very fast. And there were others that it was just like, I don't know why we are stuck in this, but it has taken time for sure with some of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a project that I didn't finish like fast, if you say so. Like yeah, it took me over a year to finish, and actually I'm still working in 3 images to just release the full project. Something that I have learned the hard way is that don't pressure yourself to produce fast, but take the time to produce your best, because at the end you will see the result, like it is not about quantity but quality.
Yeah. Were there any instances where there was a picture, or you said to them that these are my 3 favorites, and they insisted on you using another one?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Were you able to rest with that? Was that okay?
Like I need to honor what I said when I first got it with them. And yeah, as a photographer, as a visual person, you know which images is stronger. But if they don't feel it represents them, why pursue to using that image? And this project really gave me that chance to back up and say, okay, if you don't like it, I will take it, whatever you want. And it's very interesting because I had finished the image of one of them, and when it was already released with the project and all that, she said like, I don't know if it is possible, but I would like if it's possible, because the idea for this project is to produce a book. And she asked me if I could change the image for the book. And she explained me why. I understand. I heard to her motives, and I think they are very valid. And we're going to change the image for the final book. And
Okay.
yeah, she was saying about like, sorry for delaying or whatever. And it's like, it's part of the process, right? Like,
Yeah.
And as I said, like, I really hope I can honor my work with them, and I can be true to what I offered them. I feel really bad that I've been working in this project for so long and I haven't published the book, but the project itself is just going like very, very slow. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah.
What about, because you embellish the images, don't you? Do you scratch the emotion?
I work on because of the nature of the project, because of how I would have loved to do it manually, like do the interventions manually, but it wasn't possible for this one because I needed their approval on the photo, and doing a correction over the photo was going to be impossible. So for this one in particular, I decided to do all the interventions digitally.
Okay.
And yeah, I did digital illustrations over them.
Okay. I mean, that's quite detailed as well, but I understand why you would go down that route, because if you said they're part of the project and they have input, then you have to honor that. And I think particularly if you're saying, I want to represent you, you can't then say, no, this represents you better than that does, because they're the person who knows.
Exactly. Who know themselves better than themselves? Like, you know yourself like better than anyone. But yeah.
Did you at any point during the production of the project have the Sony World Photography Awards in your mind as a goal?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. I'm going to be completely honest to you. I heard about them last year. I unfortunately haven't heard about them before, but what it really caught my eye was that they allow manipulation on the photo. And a lot of photography contests don't offer you that chance. And yeah, when I saw my photos, I was like, okay, like a good friend of me told me why I wouldn't, why not to share them there. And I was like, but I haven't finished the project, and like I really want to do the book first, and blah 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 blah. And I was feeling like in a way like it wasn't. I really felt like the imposter syndrome there. Like I couldn't. And
wow,
yeah, like
I hope you bought your friend a drink.
I haven't seen her because she lives in Peru, but
okay.
But definitely she will come to London soon, and I will definitely get her out for sure.
Because I mean, those images in the exhibition, the women all looked incredibly powerful. It was beautiful work as well. How did you feel when your name was read out as the overall winner?
Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like there was this moment when they showed this slide, and I see a glimpse of my photos on the big screen, and I was like, like I was just like feeling like a drop of something, like a water drop on me or something like that. I was just like grabbing myself to the table.
Yeah, and the room went wild as well, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I couldn't believe it. It is really, for me, it's very warm in my heart, because in a way, my peers from Latin America, this year we were 3 finalists from Latin America, and they were always like from day one when we arrived, you are gonna get it. Like they never doubted. They never doubted, and they were always supporting that, like, and they were like, you're gonna get it. Like, yes, Lily, I don't know why you're lying to us, but you're gonna get it. You already know.
They thought you knew.
Yeah, like I was like, no. I swear, I don't know. Like it would be amazing, but like all the work, like their works are also very powerful and beautiful, and I was just like really happy to see them, and also like it was just a very powerful moment for us to share, because we have known each other, I think, for at least 6 years or something like that. Like we started in this but kind of at the same time in this career, and it was just beautiful to see them there, to meet with them again there. And
yeah,
yeah,
makes it extra special when you share it, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So I think that's a really good time to go to 6 from She Clicks. I've got 10 questions from She Clickers. I would like you to answer 6 of them, please, by picking numbers from 1 to 10 at random. So which would you like as your first number, please?
5.
Number 5. How do you determine the stitches or embellishments you will make? Do you take your photographs with them in mind, or are they a response to your photography or your photograph? That question's from Liz.
Well, it really depends on the photo, because not depending on the project. Because, for example, for the actual embroidery projects, pieces that I have done, everything works around an idea that I already have conceptualized. I had a sketch, and I had like an idea of what I wanted to represent in that particular embroidery piece, which actually might be in Somerset House. Spoiler alert here.
Fantastic.
So it really depends, like on what kind of idea I'm working with. In the particular case of Vira, there are a few ones that look like embroidery, but actually are digital illustrations. And on those ones, I work a lot with the idea we have to conceptualize, but also the dynamics in the photo. That's why also it was hard, because not all the illustrations work all the time, right? Like you need to see how you are going to accommodate them, how are you going to be balanced, and they're not gonna fight, because the 3 images that I have left to finish is because I feel they are fighting a lot, like the illustration with the photo itself. Photo and illustration are not dancing together. So yeah, like it depends a lot on what is the piece I'm working. If it's something that I already had like previously work, and sometimes it's okay to be a bit more spontaneous and do something more that you are feeling with the movement of the needle, but it's actually very rare. Like I have I want to do this, and I'm focused on that idea, rather than digitally, that when you can erase actually, I didn't like it that much here. It's going to work more if I work a bit or expanded the line, and yeah, depends a lot on that.
Okay. Can I have your second number, please?
4.
Number 4. How long do you spend getting to know some of your subjects before you photograph them? I mean, you said some of them were family in the past, so probably you knew them a long time, but some of the other people.
Okay. I also like it really depends on what I'm working with. On personal projects, I feel like the conversations can start like weeks in advance, and like you have a lot of conversation online or over chats. And in the particular project of Vira, because they live in different places in Oaxaca or Mexico, traveling to them was the chance also to spending a few good hours or days with them. And everything in the photo, I think it is more about the conversations we have previously in the photo. And that also allowed me the idea of, this actually, she said this was important to her. Like, for example, Mitzi. She's an environmental activist. She has I think that's one of the most known photos of the series, the one where Mitzi's like with her hand, at the to the sky. And we were talking about that, and that we were in the place that she said that it was her favorite place in her village, which is a lagoon with a beautiful emerald color in the back. And because I was photographing in black and white, you couldn't see it. I brought the color of the water with the illustration and all those like conversations that came from that time when we spent like, I don't know, like I don't put metrics, but I will say like at least 2-3 hours of good conversation. Like there were like times when, like I just like started talking, have my recording something in case, which I actually haven't come back because I was also making notes. When I have questions, I go back to there, but a lot of the times I don't. But yeah, like I would say like it's a lot of time knowing that and they showing me their place. With Jazz also, I went to visit her at her house. She told me which were the favorite plants of her grandmother. Her grandmother was a big figure in her life, and how I could put her in her image, like, well, with this beautiful plant in the background. So yeah, it requires a lot of knowing them for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's especially important when you are doing a personal project because you cannot go directly to the photos and then talk. You need to talk first, knowing them first. And sometimes maybe the photographs are not going to happen in that session, right? Like maybe it will happen next time you will see them.
Yeah. Okay. Can I have your third number, please?
9.
Number 9, have you ever turned down paid work that didn't align with your values or your long-term project goals? How do you decide when to say no? That is from Anne.
Yes, I have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I have done, especially collaborations, like especially collaborations on Instagram where big brands come to tell you, you are going to be my ambassador. And they're not going to give you other than the freaking tag. So, yeah, I have turned down those kind of collaborations because definitely they don't come from a place where we are in equal situation, in equal position. So, yeah, I have turned down big names. I'm not going to say anyone's, but big names of photography industry. But I feel like when someone doesn't sound good to you, doesn't sound fair to you, it's okay to say no. And it's horrible sometimes because, like there have been other times as well that when money has been implied and I have said no. And I was like on not red numbers, but I'm not sure if I'm going to survive. Like in photography and creative industries happens that a lot when you are a freelancer.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're going to make it till next month and how are you going to make it till next month. So yeah, it's hard.
Some of the, I don't know about you, but some of the collaborations I've been offered, it's like, hey, we love what you do, blah, blah, blah. Will you put on these leggings? And you think, what's that got to do with what I do? So, and you can't, like you said, you need money, not leggings. I mean, leggings are handy if you're short on a pair of leggings, but they don't pay the bills.
Definitely. So. I think especially for companies that work with photographers or have their products direct to people that are going to consume them, doing that is disgraceful and really don't value the work of a photographer. Like it is for me, like it is like simply like I cannot understand it. I cannot understand it for sure.
Okay. Can I have your fourth number, please?
I will give you that chance. So maybe you have one that you want to ask from me.
Okay. Oh, yes. Well, there are lots of great questions, actually. Okay. Number 1, in a world where many of us are from somewhere else, what does it mean to you to be indigenous? And do you think this element of your identity shapes your photography in a different way from those who have migrated from their roots, but do not have the indigenous element in their life story? That question's from Carmen. So it's quite an involved one.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like at the moment I understood that the value of my story also came from where it come from. As I said previously, like the first photo that impacted my life was this photo from Lola Alvarez Bravo, who came to my village and photographed this in the 40s, if I'm not wrong, 40s, 60s. I don't remember. It's a big spam what I said. I think it was 40s. Family of Man is the show. Sorry.
Yes.
Like, sorry. I realized, like the importance of telling the stories that come from close from your heart. I didn't see it, and I actually, as I said, like it took time. I started in 2006 to be interested in photography, and my first project wasn't the project about my family because I didn't feel like I was ready. It's interesting to understand that I also require a lot of encouragement from teachers and people that were more knowledge in this, who helped me to see the value of my work. And for me, it was like very moving when James Astrin, a photo editor and photographer now she was a long time a photo editor for the now non-existent Lens blog for the New York Times. He saw this project, and I remember the first time I show it to him, I was still like not very sure of showing it because I was just finishing my Mestiza project, and I was like, I want to show him this, and he loved it. He actually published it in the Lens, and I remember a lot like he telling me, but what else are you working on? And I was like, oh, well, I'm working on this project about my family, and like very shy, like, and I really want to go to LA to photograph more of my family there because the diaspora is there. And it was just very interesting to me to understand also that he saw in me that it was important to my point of view. So in this way, it has like the indigenous in me, like understanding that value sounds weird, but I needed to be validated because in Mexico we suffer a lot of discrimination, like a lot. Like I know I'm indigenous from day one, but it is very hard when everyone in your environment tells you that is wrong in a way. I feel so happy for the generation that is coming now, growing in pride, embracing their culture, their heritage. But that really didn't happen as much to me. Like I grew up in an environment and then like, yeah, I wanted to be whiter. Okay. Like I remember that a lot. So I know I'm going like a lot, like I could have a big conversation about this itself. But yeah, it has been like a really big battle also big battle with demons in my mind, like understanding and feeling like growing that right. This is like I'm talking about this battle like a few years ago, like not now. Like I don't have these battles right now. Just to clarify, because it's like, yeah, it's a very difficult subject like a few years ago, but now so many years after, I'm so happy, for example, to see the girls in my village, the girls from my diaspora, being so proud and growing like with such a different perspective of their culture. And I had the opportunity to have a show in Oaxaca in 2024, a few years ago, and I invited my community because that show was for my community. It was in the photographic center where I saw this Lola Alvarez Bravo photo, and I invited to come. And I asked them, if you can come in your traditional clothes, please do. And it was a celebration. I cried in the opening because there were just women and men dressed in their gatherings. And it is a time for reclaiming, reclaiming what they tried to erase in us, politics and all these. That happens also here in the UK. I mean, I'm living in the UK, and so I have also that layer of migrating here, which is like completely different approach from Mexico. And I'm glad that this happened to me in Mexico in the way that happened, because it empowers me now. And I understand also the relevance of creating these visual representations. Like that's also why I create IRA, because I know how hard it is for indigenous women, indigenous girls to find something that truly represents them, that they feel connected, that they feel like, this actually is my aunt, and she's doing this. With this project, I also was able to do some workshops with kids, and that was the best part, like bringing the photo, and she's like, oh, I know her, this is my daughter, like, and it is just like, yes, this is about that. And I'm sorry if I just went in a big circle to say this, but it is very important to understand also the struggle you as a person pass, because now I have it very clear, but it wasn't as clear when I was a teenager. And even since I've been a teenager, I've been part of my community. I have never stopped to being what I'm being, but maybe I was hiding it a bit. Hiding because I was scared, because all the discrimination I was having. And I remember actually one of the first time I dressed my traditional outfit in clothes in Mexico City, which year was? Maybe like 10 years ago. And I remember all the stare, like all the stare, like I entered into the metro, into this underground to go to this event. And yeah, I couldn't stop the stare. And even like they were like touching my clothes. Like I was like, oh, like like you don't touch clothes of anyone. Like it was like just like wait a second.
Strange.
I appreciate like you are looking at it, but yeah, it is, I feel in a way like happy, but because it was the first time that I was doing it. But yeah, like it was just like we were so secluded in a way, like now I feel like we feel more freedom to just be ourselves.
Good. Some good progress then. Good. Can I have your fifth number, please?
Let's go for 10.
If a female photographer from a marginalised or indigenous background told you, I have stories to tell, but I'm not sure the photo world wants them, what would you say to her? That's another question from Anne.
It is a lot of what happened to me, right? Yeah, well, I feel like everyone in the world has a very unique window to a world that we don't know. And sometimes when we see it every day, we stop to seeing it with this size of, like being amazed by it. I feel like there is a lot of problem with imposter syndrome for sure. Like I don't have work good enough. I like even this series. As I told you, like I was like, it's not ready. Like I'm not gonna show it yet. And a lot of the times it is just like where you want to show it, why you want to show it, and how I can help you to make it happen, right? And yeah, if someone came telling me like, I have this story, I have these photos, I want to show them, but I'm not ready, show them to me and tell me why are important to you. And maybe if you are struggling to make more of this project, we can find a route that you can take and make it happen. But yeah, I understand why it's hard, why we a lot of the times invalidate our feelings or view. And yeah, it's not easy at all sometimes to fight against that. But yeah, I think the first step is to ask someone you trust to see the project and ask for advice. And there are a lot of good stars. Like I feel like I had my very, very, very good father in Jim, the person that I just told you, because he actually helped me a lot to understand what I was doing, and he directed me, go here, go there, and yeah, like sometimes we also like in this industry, like there are a lot of gatekeepers, and we never know who. It's difficult sometimes to know who is that gatekeeper, right? But
yeah,
it is okay to ask just for, can I have one spare time of your time? Tiny, I'm going to show you something, and yeah, let's see what happens after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask someone for advice and they sort of say, oh, no, don't, no, you're not ready, then that is a form of gatekeeping. But if they say, well, how do we progress this? And maybe they're looking at your work thinking this person is not ready, but what they want to do is help you get to the point where you are ready. That is a good advisor. That's good advice.
Yeah, definitely.
And I really hope that you winning the Sony World Photography Awards has made you realize that you really need to quiet down that imposter syndrome feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on that. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, but it will inspire others too, which is great.
I hope so. That's the work about, like to inspire others.
Okay, so it's time for your final number, please.
Final number 7.
Okay. How do you feel about social media and Instagram? You don't post regularly, so this person was wondering if it's because it's not relevant to your work or because you fundamentally dislike it. That question is from Philippa.
I don't dislike it, but I also don't think it is that important. Okay, it is important in a way that it really is now sometimes Instagram is more accessible or more visible than your website, right? Like a lot of people use it as their profile. I do not feel that I need to post every day or every week even. I post when I feel like something is relevant and that, like it's important to share. I know in this way I'm not entering in the algorithm and I don't get as many followers as I will be aimed to have, but that's okay.
Yes.
As well, like the thing about the virtual world is not the real world sometimes. Not sometimes, all the time. It's not the real world. And it has a massive impact in my mental health. I was more regular when I didn't have a girl. Now I'm a mom as well, and I need to wisely use my time. So, yeah, it's a lot about man. I share stories. I share things about the world. I'm always posting something that is impacting in my life or impacting everyone's life. I definitely I keep on that. I know that not all the people see on the stories, but I'm been trying to post more regularly, but I also try to post wisely. So it's like a bit of a challenge for sure. I struggle a lot with that one for sure. I understand the importance, and believe me, a lot of people have reached out to me because of Instagram. But I'm hoping it's more about, I hope it is more about the quality as well, not the quantity. And I need to look after my mental health.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very sensible approach, to be honest. Because like you say, I think websites actually these days are more important because you're in control of that. You know, people find you, people can look you up and they find your website. But Instagram, just scrolling through adverts, scrolling through reels from people that you never said you wanted to follow, all of that. And it could change in a overnight. You know, all sorts of things can happen, but you'll always have your website.
Yes. And on your website, you have your control. What I mean is like a lot of people use them as their first introduction card. Yeah. And when I'm being in festivals, I found interesting that you are not exchanging cards anymore, but Instagram accounts. So, it's just like very, interesting to me sometimes to see that. But
I feel more confident sharing a website.
Yes, as well. I do both. I do both.
Okay.
But I what I feel in with other photographers in the last 2 events that I'm being is like they are like, oh, what is your handle? How I can follow you? And it's like, okay, this is I have feel like in popularity a lot of the times it is the first ask. But as you said, like you are bombarded sometimes with things that you never signed for. You not necessarily have news from the people you want to hear. Yeah, you don't have control. You don't have control of what you see.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for joining me on the podcast. It's been absolutely fascinating chatting with you, and congratulations again on being the Sony World Photographer of the Year.
Thank you so much, Angela. It was very, very enjoyable to talk with you. I had a great time, and I hope everyone will have a great time listening to us. Thank you.
I'm sure they will. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the She Clicks Women in Photography podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Special thanks to everyone who sent in a question. You'll find links to Citlali's website and social media channels in the show notes. I'll be back with another episode soon, so please subscribe to the show and tell all your friends and followers about it. In the meantime, you can follow She Clicks on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube if you search for She Clicks Net. So until next time, enjoy your photography.